Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It's about 6 a.m. in the morning, and I wanted to make a short video. I just went yesterday and met with my new psychiatrist because I go to this place where it's like a teaching school for new psychiatrists. Then they go off to their private practices, um, and it was a really good experience. The night before, my attackers were stimulating my vagus nerve, and just kept me up all night. So they were doing sleep deprivation. They can do sleep deprivation to me. Usually they let me go to sleep because I think they get a lot of NLP done and hypnosis and direct dreaming, and I think they like that. They like me to go to sleep and then they get to work on my brain. But they kind of kept me up, and I noticed way more stimulation of the vagus nerve, just way more pain in my neck and my head. Um, and so I got a little bit of sleep. I stayed up for I woke up at like 2 in the morning. My appointment was at 2. I went there. I was super tired, just super tired, thinking, I had a strategy in my head. I was like, well, I'm just gonna tell her, I'm depressed and anxious, and because I just wanted my lorazepam. Um, but so I got there. They were just really stimulating my vagus nerve, really hitting me hard. Went in, got into a room, and started talking with her, and it's like I had the biggest panic attack because I had the mask on, and the mask was like really hurting my breathing. It was like hard to breathe, and I was like barely able to talk at the beginning. So what they were doing, they were stimulating my vagus nerve like all night, getting it ready so that they could just give me this super fight or flight feeling like right at the beginning, so I could barely talk. So I fumbled at first talking to her, and I was like, man, she's gonna think I'm retarded and crazy because this stuff sounds so bizarre. But it got better immediately. I kind of like, okay. And the first thing I told her, and this is the point. This is the point of this video. The first thing I told her was, Niels Melzer, the rapporteur on torture and inhumane treatment. He is writing a report that he's going to read in the general session in October, right? That seemed to get her attention. It seemed to be a golden ticket to where whatever I talked about, I really couldn't be put into, mental institution. And I'm not saying every target individual just go out and see psychiatrists. I want to do it because I want to talk to them and I want to get them kind of understanding this, because we will need psychiatrists when this comes out, for trauma, for what this has done to our brain. And I do think there are some good psychiatrists, especially new ones, that can learn about this stuff. I know the trust in psychiatrists isn't good, and I'm not saying go out and see a psychiatrist. But anyway, like we talked about it, I kind of did the thing like how I do that. I told her about the UN, told her about activism, told her about my channel. We talked about it. She gave me this test, where you had to say 3 words, then she did some other things, and then you had to say the 3 words again. Could only remember one. Like, my memory is so shot. But it was good. Okay. So at the end of me and her talking, which I recommended, I said, okay, well, I want the lorazepam, and then they're giving me Geodon. They've prescribed me Geodon, which I don't take because it doesn't do anything, right? I'm targeted. The Geodon doesn't do anything, but the lorazepam, it kind of soothes the nervous system. It kind of cuts off strong signals from the brain to the nervous system, right? And I was saying, well, could you prescribe me some gabapentin? Because I was thinking with a combination of those two, it would like really help, the remote neural manipulation, the pain to the nervous system, and the constant thought and emotion injection that I have like all the time. And so we talked about that. We thought it was a good idea. She went. she went and got like the head psychiatrist, and this has never happened to me. But since I hadn't been in 6 months, my old psychiatrist left like in July, so I had to kind of restart. And I guess the psychiatrist that I was talking to was like real new, so she had to go get the main psychiatrist. She was like, okay, well, you sit here, and I'm gonna go talk to whatever his name is, her manager. I'm gonna go talk to him, and then maybe he'll need to talk with you. So she left the room, and I was like, oh my god, are they gonna put me in a minute? Or did because I was talking like during the conversation, I didn't mention V2K because she's like a new psychiatrist, but I mentioned getting hit in the groin, getting hit with external hits, ringing in the ears, the headaches. I mentioned that the vestibular system, pulses to the vestibular system can send and receive signals from the brain, and that they're doing this to millions of people all over the world. And I mentioned that, Dr. Hoffer, like, because I wanted to talk about my noise canceling hearing aids. I mentioned that Dr. Hoffer recommended the noise canceling hearing aids. I told her about Dave Case's CD, told her about these things that, put frequencies in the inner ear that can cancel out the electromagnetic pulses. Like, so I was telling her about all this stuff. I didn't say like they can put visuals in my head. V2. I didn't talk about V2K, but I talked around it. I'm getting hit with something. It affects the brain. Yeah, I was like Dr. Hoffer. Dr. Hoffer was the one who did the who did the first evaluation of the Cuban embassy workers, right? So I told her about all that. Like, I was just telling her everything, and she was kind of, like, oh, well, that's a big thing. And I told her, I was like, man, it's like conditioning me to have this, I guess, learned helplessness where I was telling her, like, I come and see you, and I'm like, I don't know I'm really nervous because you're new, and this, you can't really just have a short little paragraph explaining it because it sounds so crazy, right? But I tried to kind of stay with the positive things, Dr. Hoffer, activism, protest. The UN is going to announce it with a report, come up with resolutions and things like that. It piqued her interest, and she was like, "Bring me that information, right?" But anyway, so she went to go get her manager, and I was scared because this guy, I've seen him around there. He's this big guy. So he comes in, and he's like asking me all these questions about like where I went to high school, where I went to elementary school, where I went to college, where I worked after college. Um, what else did he ask me? He said this. He was like gabapentin is probably a pretty good path to go down. That's a good recommendation. Why would you want gabapentin? Because like I recommended it. So he's like, yeah, that's a really good course. And I was like, I told him, I said, any medication that like cuts off strong signals from the brain to the nervous system, dulls down the nervous system. It's like it doesn't just help. It almost it helps exponentially because you're stopping, like you're cutting off, you're changing the resonance of your brain, you're dulling down your nervous system, and so everything our attackers do is like cut down, but then it's like it also helps with anxiety and stuff like that. So it's like almost an exponential increase in what would you call it? Exponential increase in being comfortable. This being bearable. And then he was like, and then the manager guy, and like he's like, look, like I really thought that he was gonna be like, we need to bring you in. This is just my thought. I'm not sure about this, but I think that he knows about this because he was asking where I went to elementary school. He asked where I went to high school. He was like kind of looking me over and stuff like that. And he goes, "What are you wearing on your shirt?" Right? And I said, "Oh, these are Schumann resonators. It has healing frequencies, the Earth's frequencies, and it creates kind of a shield for non-ionizing microwave radiation, from your computer to your phone. And with him, I kind of backed off, and I didn't say like I was being hit, but I'm sure it's in the files. Like he knows that. And he was like, okay, well, that's great. We're gonna go ahead and give you the gabapentin and stuff like that. I told him about the UN thing. I said that the UN is going to announce cyber torture and everything like that, and he's like, oh, I had not heard about that. They're chained by the DSM, but the psychiatric place I go, it's like a teaching psychiatric unit. They're usually really good, and they're not they're not very judgmental on things, as long as you're not going to hurt yourself or hurt others. And I even okay, so he left, and then I was talking to the young psychiatrist, and she's new, and I said, well, what my other psychiatrist do, Dr. Dodd, and Dr. Luce, I said, what Dr. Dodd told me is she said, I know that this is happening to you, but I can't stop it. What I can do is I can help you decrease the depression and anxiety from the trauma. She said that, right? So it really does help going there. I can tell them certain things. I kind of said, like, as I get to know her more, I will tell her about the V2K. But like in my situation, and this is just me, guys. And maybe targeted individuals that do go to a psychiatrist that doesn't throw you in a mental institution and will listen to you. It felt really good to talk to somebody who was not a targeted individual. I need to do that with more than just psychiatrists. It really empowered me, and I felt like it was kind of a breakthrough, because with that weapon, the UN is going to announce this in October, right? Think about that golden ticket, guys. Even if they just announce it, and I think more is going to come out of it, right? Even though I know this, even though the UN is corrupt, they're going with Agenda 2020 or whatever, Agenda 21. Even though they're doing that, I do think there are good people in the UN, and it's like, the thing is, just them announcing it changes everything. Because then every conversation you have with a doctor, every conversation you have with a policeman, every conversation you have with your parents, every conversation you have with your friends, get the documents. When the UN announces it, there's already documents of Neil Melzer talking about it, right? He's the special rapporteur on torture for the UN. So I'm seeing it. Okay, this is my point on that. If it's the only thing, if they just announce it, write up some guidelines or whatever, we have that as a weapon, as a golden ticket to get help from people, and it's like a shield, it's like a protection from just getting thrown into the mental institution when you go and get help. That changes everything, just that. And I think way more is going to come out of it, right? So it was a very, very hopeful thing. I left there, I had talked to both of them, spoke to them intelligently. I had a strategy of like, don't talk about it, just get to know her, say I'm depressed and anxious, and say, I actually did say that at the beginning. I was like, I don't really know you that well, let's just talk about, it's a bizarre thing. But then I realized that I'm not good at strategy, and I kind of just like the truth, the precocious truth. It works, if you just talk about it in a certain way. And she even said, I was like, and I know this sounds crazy. She's like, you're not coming across crazy at all. Like, I mean, and that made me feel really good. It just really empowered me. When I left, I was like, oh, that was something. And I got gabapentin. I don't know. I feel really dizzy. I'm taking like 300. A 300 milligram capsule in the morning, and then if I need it at night. It's making me super dizzy, but it seems like the emotional injections, the visual injections, the vagus nerve stimulation, horrible to my neck and my head. It seems like that is just like, ugh. But I'm a little bit dizzy, right? I'm a little bit dizzy. I've taken it before, um, and I don't know how everybody feels about pharmaceuticals, right? They're trying to poison us, they're trying to mind control us. But like when you're in a situation, like I'm in a situation of, okay, my mind control is so bad, I don't even feel like myself. My vagus nerve hurts so bad, like I can barely do anything. It's to a point where, I have to do chemical shielding. And it's a hopeful thing that there is chemical shielding. Lorazepam calms down the nervous system, decreases the strength of signals from the brain to the nervous system, right? And then gabapentin also does that. Lowers the intensity of which your nervous system feels. Basically, right? There's a science to that. There's a science to what it does to your brain. But it already feels better. I took one yesterday and then one today, and I feel like, and I just jumped on a video. Lately, I've been mind controlled, and I'm like, oh, I feel so bad, and like the mind control, like consistent thought injections all day long, like never stopping. Things that have happened that are bad, stresses and things, just constant. And now when I'm taking the gabapentin, it's like, okay, I can think. It's like I got my mind back. I can focus on things. What do I need to do today? And another bad thing about the mind control, constant EEG of like dread, of everything seems too big, right? Everything seems like a dramatic bad thing, right? It's this perception management, and I feel like that's gone. It's like, okay, yeah, blah blah. The mind control is really, really bad, and if it gets bad for you, I really recommend the gabapentin and lorazepam, because we've got to do this chemical shielding along with the other kinds of shielding. And I found this awesome mirror helmet. Like I found this awesome mirror helmet. There are some mirror helmets that people who ride horses, it's like the jockeys that ride horses. They have these really special mirror helmets, but they're like, I think like $2,000 or something like that. But then I was looking more, and I found this like kind of motorcycle helmet, and it's like a silver, but silver mixed with mirror. And I was thinking that'd be a really good idea for me, because I'm blocking a lot of the stuff that goes to the vestibular system, blocking a lot of the external hits. I still get all that stuff, but I do feel like there's a layer of either photonic or scalar energy, or a mixture of those things. Maybe just photonic energy that goes straight to the brain, nanotechnology on the brain, and it lights up and does what it sends a signal to and back from areas of the brain. And I think that's where I'm getting my really bad mind control, because I'm blocking a lot of stuff, but then there's different layers that they're using, right? So the chemical shielding is like helping with what I can't block. But I don't know how everybody feels about medication. I know a lot of people want to stay away from psychiatrists and stay away from medications. If you feel safe with the psychiatrist, I would suggest the gabapentin or the lorazepam. If you're in a situation where you're like, with the mind control, it's like all day injection. Like I can't even have my own thoughts, because their injectable thoughts are covering mine, and so I can't think, I can't organize my thoughts, and then horrible, depressed, dreadful feelings, and always injections of bad things that have happened in life and in situations recently. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. Just even now with what Niels Melzer has said, that is a golden ticket, right? And the UN is going to announce this in October. This experience with the new psychiatrist, really showed I felt safe. I felt safe. Well, she just went to get the manager because she's really new. She's really new, and she wanted him to talk to me because I think she's trying to figure out something. But I think it's a golden ticket, and I think after October, when they do have something in writing on the UN Charter, or whatever they're going to write out for the for the general session, or just that specific day, whatever their notes are and stuff like that, we need to get that. And I feel like it's a golden ticket to at least not be thrown into the mental institution, right? You come out and you say, look, cyber torture has been declared by the UN, and then maybe we can turn some of these good psychiatrists and good doctors, we can get help from them. Maybe they'll start talking about it. What I see with whatever happens with the UN, and that's like that part of it, that part of it, just having that golden ticket of whatever they announce in October, that's like one thing. That's like just the beginning thing that I'm sure is going to help us in a huge way, but I think that better things are going to come from it, and really bad things are going to come from the UN higher up in the whole plan. But we've got to understand this, guys. In these organizations, there's very compartmentalized people. Like, so in the DoD, there's contractors, there's people who experiment with microwave weapons, right? But then there's other departments and compartments in the DoD that know nothing about it, and they would probably have a problem with it, right? And they would probably say something about it. So my point is, in these organizations, not everybody's in on genocide and a New World Order takeover. There are some that are just doing their job. They're compartmentalized, and they're kind of left alone. They're kind of left alone to do their job. At least that's how I see it. And we've got to, like, I feel this because, like, through this with the targeting, I feel there's a lot about your energy, how people respond to you with your energy and stuff like that. And I feel like we need to hope, we need to pray that that the UN announcing this and the report being read and whatever is written on the days that he reads the reports, right, will lead to investigations, will lead to something more. Now, I don't know if it's probably not going to stop at the day that he announces it, but it can get some dominoes rolling. And we need to have a hope. We need to have a high frequency spirit and believe and pray about it, and it can kind of give it a little push. There's a power in prayer. There's a power in prayer. I put Daniel in the Lion's Den up today because, going to the psychiatrist, a new psychiatrist, stressed me out. I was like, where do I start? What kind of strategy do I need to use? Do I just tell her I'm depressed and anxious, not even talk about all that? But then when after I was having like a panic. I couldn't breathe because of the mask, and I couldn't talk. Because my attackers, and this is another point, guys. My attackers had stimulated my vagus nerve. They were getting it ready. Like, they were giving me sleep deprivation, and they were working my vagus nerve in different spots, and they were getting ready for that moment. They were getting ready for that moment where I went into the psychiatrist, and then they did whatever, stimulated the vagus nerve with remote neural manipulation, and just made me the most stressed out I've ever been in my life, where I couldn't talk because they wanted me to look retarded and crazy in front of her, right? But like, I got myself together. I just told her, I said, I'm really nervous because because you're a new psychiatrist, and what I'm going through is very bizarre, and so I'm really nervous. So I just spoke to that. So if anything like that ever happens, just kind of say it. Just be like, yeah, I'm really, and I didn't say like my attackers just did that. My attackers are hitting me now. I stayed away from that. I stayed away from talking about V2K. If you do it a lot, like you talk to people like psychiatrists and stuff, you can kind of wiggle forward, and leave stuff out. But I think later I'm going to tell her about the V2K, and I'm going to tell her that I'm being hit in her office. I explained a lot of stuff, and I think I did okay. It wasn't great, but I did get my point across. And the biggest point is that it's not just happening to me; it's happening to everybody, to millions of people in the world. It's going to happen to everybody. But and the UN thing, and the UN thing that piqued her interest. She wants to see about that. And then I with the saying, Dr. Luce just said, hey, we can't really stop that, but that's I understand that the manager psychiatrist and this psychiatrist, they can't do much against this. I think maybe they could write something where I'm not crazy or something like that, but then that would be a whole lot of heat from them. I don't know. I'm gonna see. But I know a lot of you guys, don't trust psychiatrists. There are a lot of good, especially the ones that are just learning and haven't been like corrupted by the DSM too much and everything. I don't know. Some targeted individuals say going to a private practice is better because they have more wiggle room on what they can do. But I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my fourth psychiatrist because they learn and then they go off to their private practices, and they've all been really good. They've all been like these people that really want to help. And there is mental illness in the world. So I've had a good experience on this. Is one of my good experiences. I lucked out here. I get trashed and I get very unlucky in a lot of situations, but this is something where it's like, and I think we'll find that some pathways that you take when you're targeted, you get smacked and kicked in the teeth, and it's just brutal. But you got to find those situations where it's like, okay, I lucked out here. And to do that, you need faith. To do that, you need okay, something good's gonna happen, even though I'm being murdered, right? I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna find healing. I'm gonna find solutions. I'm gonna, God's gonna give me wings on this. I'm stuck on the ground. I'm getting tired. I'm ready for my wings, and God will give you some strength to get through. This is a huge thing because lately I've been like, just mind control is so bad. I can't do anything. I was like, I think my mind's not going to be able to come back. It's like, so much anxiety, depression, just dread, and then constant injected like bad things that have happened in my life and everything like that. But this is a miracle, right? I start taking the gabapentin, and it's like, I got some. I can think now. I can calm down a little bit. My vagus nerve, boy, my neck and my head. It's just sometimes I'm just like, and it's really calmed down. I'm like, I feel like a human being again. I don't feel like a tortured animal. So I wanted to tell you all about that experience. I really think like even now saying it, golden ticket, protection. David in the lion's den. Daniel in the lion's den. But when it's actually announced and there's something written on a charter or whatever they write it on, resolutions, what they talked about, the report and everything, that's going to be an even bigger golden ticket, right? I really have a lot of hope in that. And I know that there's complications. I know that the UN is corrupt and it has these huge plans. But there's compartmentalized things in organizations that we should have hope in. I saw Wayne's live stream. Really good. Awesome that he's doing live streams. That's awesome. I always thought he'd be great doing live streams. But I do, like he was saying that the UN is probably collecting information. I do disagree with that. I disagree. I don't think they're collecting information. I think they're literally trying to find out about this. It's a compartmentalized group that maybe the top will get some of that information, without their knowing it. But the people who are doing this, I don't think they're just gathering information to hurt us more or anything like that. I don't want anybody to think that, because we need to interact with this thing. We need to interact with this and tell people. But I love, Wayne's live streams are awesome. He's doing a great job. I'm so glad, because because I'm getting really tired. And I'm gonna still do videos and things like that. Maybe I'll do a live stream every once in a while, but it's good to know that, Steven, Stacy, Wayne, a bunch of people are doing live streams where targeted individuals can hang out. So I can kind of deal with some things that I need to deal with. And it's a stupid thing, right? There's so many videos on YouTube that y'all can watch, but it's this stupid thing in my head, and it may be mind control that I'm like, the people who subscribe to my channel, they need me to do they like the live streams, right? And when I'm not doing it, I'm like, oh man, they like coming and talking on the live streams. I got to get over myself. Just get over myself, and it's the mind control makes everything just so like, oh, oh God, I'm dying, and like the world, like things are really serious, right? Things are really serious in the world. There's all these crises. We're all being tortured to death, and it is really dramatic. Um, but it's the mind control. Like if the mind control wasn't there, I'd be like, well, stressing out about it's not going to do anything, right? But when it's mind control, it's artificial anxiety, artificial depression, thought injection of bad things or bad feelings. Perception rape, like perception rape with hypnosis, NLP, V2K, psychic driving, the external torture. Obviously, you're so tired and stuff like that. But then injection, emotional injection, and then like just situations that you don't really want to think about. You want to kind of, move along and stuff like that. Um, and I forgot my point on that one. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. It kind of rapes your perception, right? Kind of rapes your perception. Where a good perception is to see something and be like, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and put out information and just do. I know the world's bad, but no use getting stressed out about it. I gotta help as many people as I can. I gotta help myself, my family, and everything. And it's like people who are healthy, they can do that. But when you're mind controlled, it's like you don't have any control of like how you perceptually respond to things sometimes, or at least now, in my situation, it's because it's been so long, right? So that's what, like the other night I was saying, yeah, the mind control is very, very sophisticated. It's very, very hard to even explain like what they're doing because it's so deep, so many angles, right? But it seems like the gabapentin is just like boom, like really lowers the intensity of my nervous system, changes things, so it's like all those angles are like, not cut off completely, but toned down a lot. So it's like all this. It seems like all these complicated things are happening to me, but then it's like God kind of puts me in a path where it's like, okay, boom, table turn, table turn, found something, you know. So I wanted to tell you all about that. I don't know how many of you guys don't want to take pharmaceuticals and stuff. I think these are pretty, they're pretty light. Like lorazepam especially, and chemical shielding works wonders. But I think we need to, use it with the other shielding. I'll show you all that motorcycle. See, I just pulled up that motorcycle on that. Check this out, guys. I may make just a little short video just showing some of these that I saw. It'll come up. But I was looking for mirror helmets, right? Because a mirror could block photonic energy. If it's like 7G technology, photonic energy that's just non-visible light going to nanotechnology on neural networks in the brain and then reading and writing like that. And I do think there's a component, but there's other layers. There's electromagnetic pulses, transcranial stimulation, right? This is a lot of money that they're using and that they're making doing this to us. Okay, so look, check this out. Economic blogs, new helmet, motorcycle chrome, silver half open face, unisex scooter, mirror helmets. I'm getting one of these. maybe I shouldn't have told y'all about it because now y'all are gonna buy it. Y'all are probably gonna buy some, and then the price is gonna go up because of supply and demand. That's what happens, guys, when we start buying a lot of these products on Amazon and stuff like that. The prices go up because so many people buy it. I think that happened with the Schumann resonator. It also happened with the noise canceling hearing aids too. But I wanted to show you all that. Wait on it, because I gotta buy one. No, go ahead and buy it. I think this can work for some of the more serious, straight to the. I'm gonna talk with Brian about. I'm gonna talk with Brian too about it and see what he thinks. But I really think that this could in mu metal, like Robert Stanson made a mu metal helmet, right? He made a mu metal helmet that he says really works. But I'm thinking the mu metal might not block photonic energy. It might not block the non-visible light. And I think that's what's lighting up the nanotechnology that we got that passed our blood-brain barrier. I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure, but I'm definitely gonna. It's $50. I think I'm gonna experiment with it and see. Maybe use it when I sleep and stuff like that. It's very hard to know what is causing what because I have hypnosis when I sleep, directed dreaming, NLP, V2K psychic driving, subliminal V2K that's probably just voices all the time that I can't even hear. I have all that stuff. Then I have the remote neural manipulation where they are actually doing EEGs and affecting parts of my brain and everything like that. So it's hard to know what's making my brain worse because they're just doing so many things. And then I can't remember what else I wanted to say. I had it on the tip of my tongue. My memory's still really bad. I think my memory's going to stay bad because the gabapentin makes my head fuzzy, right? It makes me kind of dizzy, and it's hard to remember stuff. No, I wanted to say, this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, for all the people who are like, this is all AI. If you're like, Kyle's just the AI is really good, and Kyle's being tricked to think there's human operators, right? And I know there's some people that aren't like that, right? We talk about this stuff, but my attackers the night before the psychiatrist appointment were inflaming my vagus nerve in a very specific way, and they were doing sleep deprivation. And then when I went in to see her, like I was sitting in the office, and I could kind of feel some like physical anxiety, like it came out of nowhere, heart kind of beat, and kind of shallow breathing and stuff like that. I get into her office, boom, right before I even started talking to her. I mean, it was like in the mask and everything. I couldn't get oxygen because of the mask, but it was and I couldn't talk because there was so much physical anxiety, like in my chest and stuff like that. And it was like they had gotten something ready. They had like done my vagus nerve thing, blah blah, blah, and they had it ready for right when I met her. So that I would be like I tried to talk and it was all shaky and stuff like that. But I wasn't. There was no mental nervousness, right? It wasn't like okay, well I'm so scared to talk to the psychiatrist. I was a little bit stressed, but I was like I'm probably not going to get put into a mental institution. I can talk about this stuff. I'll just say it, So it wasn't like a mental thing. It was a physical. It was my brain or my vagus nerve stimulating and giving me this fight or flight that was like 10 times worse than it usually is. And they did that on purpose. Like it took about 5 to 7 minutes. And then it was okay. And then I was really calm and we talked and everything like that. And I find the best thing to do if something like that happens, just tell people, be like, just find some kind of reason, but don't tell them it's the technology. But my point on that is that wasn't AI. That was human operators doing that, getting, I don't want to use the word creative, a diabolical little plan, right? To try and make me look retarded and really crazy. to make me look really crazy to my new psychiatrist. I mean, that was humans doing that, the human operators. An AI would not have planned that, done the vagus nerve, done the sleep deprivation. I mean, that was that. I'm not saying there's no AI, right? I get automated stuff all the time. AI is a huge part of that. I'm just saying with mine and with with a lot of other targeted individuals, there are hive mind teams, and they do manual stuff just like that, just like getting ready for that, because they know that I can talk about stuff. They know that I can connect and with somebody and just speak plainly about it and not look crazy. And then the person that I'm talking to kind of gets double-minded, because they're like, wait, he's supposed to be mentally ill, but oh my God, this makes sense. I was telling her about, like, I mean, think about it. If you could affect the mind, I said if you could manipulate. I didn't say mind control at all. I said, but if you could condition or manipulate the mind, I said, has electromagnetic properties. If you could affect that, think about what kind of a weapon it would be. And told her about the Cuban embassy attack, which she knew nothing about. Nobody ever knows about the Cuban embassy attack. I don't know how nobody knows about the Cuban embassy attack. But I think I won't overload her on stuff, but I'm going to bring some stuff in, and then my help there is just medications that can cut my nervous system off, right? Because it's that bad. Like, I'd usually try and just use natural stuff and everything like that, but the neural manipulation, it's just gotten so strong that I have had to do something like this. All right, guys, that's all I want to say. I love y'all. Check this out. Check this new helmet. It's only $50. Don't buy a bunch, because I want to buy one. I don't want the price to go up. I'm gonna buy one today, I think. I don't have money. All right, guys, I love y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Yeah, I mean, just cutting off the nervous system. It's like it's helped the injection, but like an EEG overlay of negative emotions, and it kind of switches from dread to anxiety, and it's just like they have this. And that's a lot of that's automated. How the remote neural manipulation is affecting my mind, right? And I'm kind of coming to the conclusion you can block a lot of the stuff, can block a lot of the vestibular system, like them hacking through the vestibular system to the brain, and the transcranial nerve stimulation. I've got headgear and stuff like that, but I am thinking there's deep, like what Brian's saying is true. There's photonic energy that goes straight to the brain, and that's just the layer of it. So maybe mu metal could block it, and maybe this silver mirror helmet could block it. I don't know. Got to try stuff. We got to try stuff. But I'm just telling you guys, like, this video was really about, like, it's very hopeful. Like, to be talking to some psychiatrists, there was no chance they were going to put me into a mental place or anything like that. Talking about the UN thing, her being like, bring me that stuff next time. I know that she can't do much for me. Maybe she can. Maybe she could write me something. I might ask her that, because Karen Stewart had her psychiatrist, write out, this woman is not crazy, and it helped her out, I think in court or whatever. I might ask, but she's like a learning psychiatrist, so I'm not sure how much she's going to be able to, like, help me with the targeting. But it really helps me to just talk about it, talk about the trauma, So, but I know some of you guys will never go to a psychiatrist, and I'm not telling people go out and see a psychiatrist. Definitely, I'm just telling you all about my experience. I'm pushing on things like that if I feel like there's no danger of me being put into a mental institution or something bad happening, and then trying to stay away from strong medication, right? So, like, really strong medication, but like, okay, maybe a light benzodiazepine to lower the nervous system, and be careful with it, and then or you could just do the gabapentin and see how that works, because it's just like I need a better word. I need a better word for what it does to the nervous system, but it just calms down the nervous system. It changes how your brain sends signals to your nervous system, and that's a big deal. It like right now, it's like they can't. They kind of did shut down my memory for part of the video, but it's like my thoughts are more organized, and it's only been 2 days of taking it. It does make me kind of dizzy, and like. All right, guys, I love y'all, and I will see y'all soon. I just wanted to tell y'all about that. It's pretty hopeful. I think it's going to be a golden ticket, just them announcing it. So, all right, guys, I love y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one.